Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today's video is actually going to be a 1-year review of my gym flooring. All of this flooring that I installed here. It's been almost exactly a year since I installed this flooring, and I wanted to do an update of how well the flooring has held up, things I like about it, and some general questions that I get asked a lot. I wanted to kind of go through in this video, so that's what today's video is going to be about. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and got to enjoy some time with your family during this season. Hopefully this flooring video will be helpful for you. I'm really happy with this flooring. I would definitely recommend it. The channel just went over 1,500 subscribers. Thanks everybody for following along. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I've got a lot of good videos that are coming up. Anyway, let's get into this video then. Alright, so this flooring is made by X-Spec. It's 1/2 inch thick. It is mostly foam with a little bit of a rubber top. I bought it that way and actually have been really pleased with it because it has a little bit of a give when you walk on it and exercise, you know, doing up downs or burpees and jumping jacks and things of that nature. Just a little bit of a cushion when you're doing a bunch of jumping and things. So how is the floor actually holding up? Actually, it's holding up really well. Even in the really high trafficked areas, which is basically inside the rack right here where I do most of the burpees and things, and then back and forth into this direction, and I actually have not had any issues with it whatsoever. Now I think what is really nice about it though is that I do wear a pair of shoes in here, an indoor pair of shoes. So these shoes actually do not go outside of this room. I basically come into the room, put them on, and then do my workout, and then I take them off when I leave. So I think that actually has a lot to do with keeping the flooring in pretty good shape, is that I don't bring any outside contaminants into the room. So that definitely ends up helping to keep the condition good. But as you can see, this is the highest trafficked area, me walking in and out of the rack, and then basically right through this area here. So you can see it's actually really good. And you can see that there's not a whole lot of seams either. Like this is a spot where 4 pieces come and meet right here in the middle, and it's basically undetectable. Yeah, I've been really happy with the way that the flooring's held up. I actually expected it to probably break down a little bit more than it has, but after a year of use, it's still almost in exact condition as the day that I put it in. There's very actual few seams that you can see now. When I first put the mat in, or when I first put the squares down and pushed them all in, I kind of put them in, just pushed them in basically by finger, and they matched up fine, but over time they've worn pretty evenly and basically laid flat. There's like 1 or 2 spots where a couple of the tiles meet that doesn't actually sit down very well, but when it sticks up, it's only like 1/8 of an inch, and you barely can even tell. Overall, I'd say that's really not much of a concern that anybody would have about it. I got a lot of people asking questions about the smell. So when I first installed these floors, it actually had a pretty strong rubber odor. There's actually 0 smell in this room now, so there is no more rubber smell whatsoever a year later. It took probably a solid 4, maybe 4.5 months for that rubber smell to actually go away. What I did was I actually just unboxed it and put the flooring in straight away, but I have seen other people have success with unboxing all of these and letting them air out for like a weekend or maybe even a week. Here's the things that I did in order to kind of cure that. I put the flooring down. I had a fan in here, and I basically mopped it with like Dawn dish soap and water, and basically washed all the floors, and then had a fan running in here for I think 2 days fully to try to get some of that smell out of here. That actually helped quite a bit, but it didn't get rid of all of the rubber smell. The rubber smell was still there. It basically was around, like I said. It started to lessen over time. I would say by like 2 months in, it was probably less than half of the original smell, and by, like I said, by probably 4.5 months in, the rubber smell was completely gone, and here we are sitting a year later and there's no more rubber smell whatsoever. I know some people have said something about horse mats. I don't have any experience with horse mats. I don't use any of those, but some people said that those had really strong odors. I don't know, maybe you could do the same thing to get rid of the smell there. So I had a couple of people ask questions if the floor bubbled anywhere or if I had any gaps forming. As you can see, I'll insert here some clips of me running around the edge. But basically, I cut and installed the flooring all the way up to the edge and did not leave any space for expansion. And the flooring has held up perfectly. If I was going to redo the install, I would do it exactly the same way again, with no gap for expansion. I guess, you know, like they all say, it might be different in your scenario. I put this in my basement. It's directly on top of concrete. I didn't have any issue. But then again, they say your mileage may vary, so who knows? Maybe it would work that way for you. Maybe it would not. Hard to say. So another question I get asked a lot is, how does the flooring deal with having heavy things placed on it? And the answer to that question really depends on two things. How heavy is the item and what is the base look like? So for example, this is where the rack is put on. So my rack is actually very heavy, but as you can see, it's spread out across a very large footprint on both sides. And there is actually pretty much no denting whatsoever in this on either side, right? And the same goes for my weight tree. So the weight tree obviously is holding a pretty significant amount of weight on it as well, but it's spread out across these feet and including through the middle. Almost no denting at all. But if you go over here to the base where I have my dumbbell sitting, which is basically 100 pounds plus whatever this base weighs, but all of that weight gets put down into these 4 feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can actually see that it dents it in pretty significantly, right? If I move this, if I lift this up, so if I lift this up, you can see it's actually dented pretty good. But I know that is going to be the case there, and I don't really care that much. This is actually dented pretty good back here as well. If you know that about the flooring space and you're okay with it, then you're good. Or you could also put this on like a piece of wood or some other kind of base to basically spread the weight out instead of putting it directly down into these 4 points. Other than that, the flooring has been excellent. All right, so when I purchased these floors, I actually paid $125 a box. I think fully installed, this flooring cost me a little under $700. I just checked the price on these again, and as with everything over 2021, the inflation has gone incredibly high. These boxes are now selling for just under $170 a box, so it's $169 a box instead of $125. So that's actually quite a bit more than when I paid for these a year ago. Would I buy them at that price? Probably still would buy them at that price. These floors I've actually been really pleased with. You know, but then again, I have not purchased any other flooring like this, so it's hard to say if there's another one that's comparable that would also be just as good. I'm assuming most of them are probably made in the same factory in China. So if you do find another 1/2-inch foam flooring with a rubber top for a better price or slightly better price, it's probably made in the same place. But then again, like I said, it's hard to say. You can always, I ordered these on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description of what I ordered. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to do a quick review 1 year in of the flooring that I have here in my gym. So if you're building a gym in your house and you're thinking about putting this kind of flooring in, definitely go for it. It's worth doing. If you have any other questions about things, go ahead and throw a comment down in the description. I'll try to answer the questions as they come in. And thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.